So VisualScript for Jira, it's a reporting solution for the Atlassian stack. And it comes with a bunch of built-in reports, and these are chart style reports like pie charts, line charts, bar charts, etc. It also comes with in-context built-in reports like grids and bubble and block timelines and hierarchies. A lot of the other built-in reports are specifically built around solutions like agile software development or ITSM. So what I want to show today are the built-in, how you can use the built-in standard reports as part of your reporting for as an agile software development team. So I'm looking here at a software engineering dashboard, and just to scroll through some of the built-in reports we have that are specifically built for software engineering, we have roadmaps, we have dependency reports. These are all built-ins. We have additional like program velocity report, PI board, as well as program increment burnups and burndowns, as well as sprint burnup and burndowns. But we have specific use cases that might call for using chart style or in context style reporting. And for example, I'm going to show a few of those now. And one of the examples would be trying to identify bottlenecks of issues over a period of time. So for that, I can use a stacked area chart. Now, with all of our reports in VisualScript, when you first load a report, it's going to ask you for some data entry in the parameters. And for the stacked area chart, it's basically just the project key, the field I want to use. I'm going to pick status, but you'll see there's a bunch of options here for commonly used fields, as well as some fields for integration. And then if you don't see the field you want there, you just enter the custom option. You just type in the custom field name here. The time period I'm going to do is the last 2 weeks, and the issue type is story, and I'm going to do resolved and unresolved issues. So running this one, it's going to give me a stacked area chart. Each color is going to represent a status. So there you go. You'll see over the 2-week period, we have the number of tickets per status stacked on top of each other. So it gives you a nice visual to identify if there are bottlenecks. If you want to dig into the data a little more, you click the expanded view, and it'll give you each date, the statuses, the number of tickets with hyperlink. So another use case would be if I want to report off of the number of issues per sprint over a period of time. So project key, my field I'm going to use a sprint. My issue type is story. My data type I'm using is issue count. And I'm going to do unresolved only. And you'll see I also have the option to add additional JQL filtering. So all of our standardized reports, if you're familiar with JQL and you want to further filter the data, you can do that as well. So running this one, this is going to give me a bar chart. And I'm going to have a bar represented by sprint. So you'll see there. And then my count is issues. So I'm looking at an issue count per sprint represented by the bars. And then I have the expanded view to see each one of the sprints and the total issue count. Now, what I can also do is modify this report to report off of slightly different data set. So for example, maybe I want to see resolved and unresolved issues. I want to see past sprints. So now I'm going to see sprint 1 through 12, and they will each be a bar with a total issue count. So you'll see that. And maybe I want to change the data type from issue count to story points, and I want to see it by story points instead of issue count. So I'll now get my count on the y-axis by story points right there. And then if I click the expanded view, now you'll see all 12 sprints with the story point count per sprint with hyperlink. That's how you can use the bar chart to report off of data per sprint, but in different ways as well. So if I want to report off of multiple fields, I can use a stacked bar chart. So for this one, I want to report off of the number of issues per sprint, but also broken down by team. So you'll see my field I'm using is the component field. That's my team field. My grouping field are the sprints. My issue type is story. I'm going to use issue count and unresolved only. And now this should give me a bar per sprint. And within each sprint, I'll have stacked colors on top of each other. And that's representing the count of issues per team. So you'll see here, I have my teams represented down here. I have each one of my sprints and the count per team stacked on top of each other here. And I also have the expanded view where I could see that data, the teams, the sprints, the counts with hyperlink. Now, again, I could do a lot of variations to this here with just simple parameter changes. Maybe I want to change this to story points, and I want to do resolved and unresolved issues. So just like the bar chart, now I could see the data, but adding that extra component, which is the teams. So you'll see now I have sprints 1 through 12, and I have story point count instead of issue count, and each one of the teams. The expanded view shows story points by team, by sprint, with hyperlinks. So what if I want to see the number of issues per fixed version? So I could use a pie chart, and just this is the same data entry as a bar chart. So I'm going to use the project key. The field I'm going to use is fixed version, and issue type is story. I'm going to do issue count and unresolved issues and resolved issues. So I'm going to see previous fixed versions as well. So you'll see a pie chart. It should have 3 wedges representing my 3 fixed versions, and you'll see the count. And I could hover over there. It shows me the number of tickets with percentage, and I get the expanded view that shows me the same data as well with hyperlinks. So one of the nice things about VisualScript is not only can you see data in different ways within the same type of chart, you can also see the same data represented in different ways in different charts. So for example, if I want to see this same exact data set, but I want to see it in a gauge, I can use this linear gauge report. It's the same data entry and same parameter types as the pie chart and the bar chart. I'm going to use the fixed version field. So these are the same parameter entries as that pie chart right above it. And this is just going to give me a different view. Customers consume data differently. They visualize differently, and they receive data differently. So having options and the ability to customize data to the need of your users is quite valuable. So here you'll see linear gauges per fixed version with the counts. The number of issues is also right there as well. And then you get the detailed expanded view here with the different fixed versions, the counts, percentages, and hyperlink. So same exact data between the pie chart and the gauge report, just a different way to visualize it. So the last report I'm going to show you is one of our in-context reports. So I showed you a bunch of grids where we can visualize maybe even up to 2 different data points, right? Or 3 different data points. This one, I have the flexibility to add as many as I want. So with the grid, I'm going to select a horizontal field, which is going to be my component, my teams. My vertical field is going to be my fixed versions. And what I want to display in each one of the shapes is the sprint assignment. So I'm going to see all of the stories assigned to teams within each fixed version by with the sprint assignment within inside of it. So I'm going to do unresolved issues only. And now this is going to give me a grid that's similar to what you've seen in the program increment boards and things like that. But this is a standard report where you can modify it to any project type or any issue type, etc. So you'll see here I have a grid. On my x-axis, I have my teams. On my y-axis, I have my PIs. And then you'll see if I scroll in a little bit, if I zoom in, you'll see I have PI2, Team A has 6 stories. And you'll see the status, you'll see the sprint assignment, the summary. So if you take a look at this, what you're getting out of this are about 5 different data points in a single report. You're getting the team assignment, you're getting the fixed version, you're getting the sprint, the status, and the summary. So that is how you can use an in-context report to report off of many different metrics within the same visual. So that concludes the report, the demo. I showed you the stacked area chart, the bar chart, the stacked bar chart, the pie chart, the linear gauge report, as well as the grid.